You know, for as long as humans have been around, we've looked up at the full moon and just wondered, is it just a beautiful light in the sky? Or does it actually have some kind of strange power over us? Today, we're going to dig in and separate the science from the superstition. And that really is the big question, isn't it? From stories about werewolves to tales from the hospital emergency room, this idea that the full moon changes things down here on Earth, it's one of the most stubborn beliefs in all of human culture. But is there any truth to it at all? All right, so before we dive into all the myths and legends, let's just start with the basics. To really understand the moon's supposed effects, we first have to get a handle on what a full moon actually is from an astronomy perspective. It's kind of wild, but the science is actually pretty straightforward. A full moon isn't some special object that pops up once a month. It's really just a specific moment in an orbit. It's when the sun, the Earth, and the moon line up in just the right way, so the sunlight can light up the entire side of the moon that's facing us. Simple as that. And you gotta remember, the full moon is just one part of this bigger cosmic dance. It's just one stop on a continuous 29.5-day journey. The moon waxes, it grows from that little sliver to a full bright disk, and then it wanes all the way back to darkness. It's a constant, predictable, beautiful cycle. But come on, we all know the moon has never been just a rock in the sky to us, right? For thousands of years, it's been our clock, our calendar, and honestly, a huge source of inspiration and meaning. And you can really see this deep connection in the way different cultures gave names to each month's full moon. They weren't random names. They tied the moon directly to the rhythms of life right here on Earth. Things like the wolf moon in the dead of winter, or the famous harvest moon, which gave farmers extra light to get their crops in. And this wasn't just, making up stories. The full moon was incredibly practical. It was used to set the dates for major religious festivals. It was the foundation for entire calendars. And think about it, before electricity, that bright light was absolutely essential for everything from traveling at night to just getting together with friends. So all of this deep, ancient connection, that's what brings us to the big one, the most famous belief of all, the idea that the full moon messes with human behavior. This concept is so old, it even gave us the word lunacy, from luna, the Latin word for moon. And look, this isn't just some ancient belief we've left behind. Even today, you'll find people in really high-stress jobs. I'm talking police officers, ER nurses, paramedics, who will swear to you that things just get weirder when there's a full moon. These personal stories have kind of hardened over time into a set of common beliefs. You've probably heard them, that the full moon triggers crime waves, a spike in ER visits, even a baby boom, that it messes with our sleep and brings out erratic behavior. So the big question is, what happens when we actually put this stuff to the test? Okay, so let's set aside the stories and the gut feelings for a minute and look at the cold, hard data. For decades now, researchers have been crunching the numbers to see if any of these lunar effect claims actually hold water. Let's start with crime. While the anecdotes from police are compelling, these large-scale studies tell a completely different story. A huge study in Germany, for example, sifted through over 23,000 cases of aggravated assault and found absolutely zero connection to the phases of the moon. Okay, what about births? This is one of the most popular claims out there, but look at this number, 70 million. That's how many birth records a massive US study analyzed back in 2001. And their conclusion? No correlation. Births happen randomly all through the lunar cycle. And this isn't a one-off thing. This pattern shows up again and again when scientists perform what's called a meta-analysis, where they basically gather and review all the research done over decades. The result is, well, it's pretty overwhelming. The vast majority of studies find no link at all. And that small handful that do claim to find a connection, turns out nearly half of them have some pretty big statistical errors. But wait, this doesn't mean the moon has no effect whatsoever. Actually, it has a very real, incredibly powerful, and scientifically proven influence on our planet. It just might not be in the ways that the myths would have you believe. The most obvious influence, the one we can all see, is its gravity. The moon's gravitational pull is the main force that tugs on our oceans, creating that predictable, powerful rhythm of high and low tides that shapes coastlines all over the globe. And that lunar cycle is also a critical biological clock, especially in the ocean. The light of the full moon and the high tides it brings can trigger these incredible mass spawning events for corals.
It guides the mating rituals of fish. It's a vital timer for countless marine creatures. So, if the scientific evidence is so clear, why does this belief hang on so tightly? Well, the answer seems to be a little trick our brains play on us called illusory correlation. Our brains are pattern-finding machines. So if a crazy night happens in the ER during a full moon, the staff notice it, they remember it, because it confirms what they already believe. What they don't notice are all the totally normal full moon nights, or all the crazy nights that happen when it's just a crescent moon.
Ultimately, the science is clear. The moon's gravitational pull on the water in your body is tiny, completely negligible. There's no evidence it changes how we act. And yet, its pull on our culture, on our stories, is absolutely immense. So maybe the most interesting question isn't what the moon does to us, but why we're still so captivated by the stories we tell about it.